Hi, welcome to the News Agenda for Monday, September 27th. It's morning show hosted day, which means depending on when you listen to this in the day, this may be, well, about me. It's also National Ancestor Day, so depending on when you watch this, it may also be about me. And it's also National Family Day, so depending on how you know me, it may be all about me. It's also National Corned Beef Hash Day, so depending on what you're eating with me, it may be about me as well. It all comes together now, doesn't it? So enough about me. How are you? Have you liked and subscribed? Ooh, yeah, that's great. Glad to hear it. How's that thing? And your friend? I see. Well, things will get better. Things will get better. You ready for the news? Good, because our top news story is a special news segment we're calling Gabby Petito. Her apparent murder is a tragedy, a terrible event, and in keeping with media tradition, you could read all about it instead of literally the thousands of Indigenous, Black, Latina, and LGBTQ missing women, not to mention the dozens of military women that are also missing. Not a peep. But now that the media has turned their attention from her to him to the inevitable manhunt for her supposed killer, Brian Laundrie, seen here with his friend the Snuggle Bear. Laundrie better watch out because Dog the Bounty Hunter has joined the manhunt. In space news, after years of delays, NASA's James Webb Telescope is to launch in December. So far, they have plans to search the universe with the goal of finding extraterrestrial life and also finding Brian Laundrie. Did anything happen this week without them being involved? Probably it did. But for at least 2 days, I couldn't find anything except for about the Petito story. The insurrection wasn't even that heavily covered. Come on. But things like the news cycle move on. And some of those other things are people. Some of people who move from a decimated country in search of a better life. Haiti. Haiti is already struggling and has in the past decade experienced countless tragedies like earthquakes, corruptions, assassinations, and more natural disasters than I care to even research. But what the migrants found at the U.S. border was a whip. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the videos were horrible to watch. Unfortunately, the White House didn't also acknowledge that they were horrible to actually do. In obvious news, the Texas Governor Greg Abbott said that he would hire those Border Patrol agents, confirming everyone's suspicion that Texas was a mistake. Texas is seeing an outflux of pregnant people heading to Oklahoma and surrounding states looking to secure abortions, one of which seems to be primarily seeing Texas patients. Said one Texan, well, at least they're buying gasoline for two, one way that is. Also in things that actually happened, the Arizona audit completed and found that Joe Biden won the election by a slightly larger margin than previously thought. But that wasn't good enough. So the cyber ninjas recommended 13 legislation points to restrict voting because America. The GOP in Arizona wants to start audits in the second largest county in Arizona. Other Republican legislatures and administrators from around the country are using the quote-unquote findings of this audit to propose new limits on voting. One official said, just because nobody's done it doesn't mean we don't need a law against it. Fair. In financial news, China has declared other cryptocurrency transactions illegal. It makes sense when you realize that crypto sucks. Also in China news, China has prevented Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings from release in their theaters. This just isn't fair. It's not a top-tier Marvel movie, but it's really not that bad. Let's stay overseas and talk Canada. America Junior. They held an election last week which resulted in very little changing. So, like if you're from the US, it's just like when Democrats get into office. Germany also held an election to replace Angela Merkel, who is retiring. As of press time, the election was too close, but Donald Trump had already declared himself a wiener. In pretty bad news, a 33-year-old man was passing a substantial amount of sperm and urine out of his anus for 2 years, and he had been defecating and farting from his penis. The man said that his testicles were hurting, and that was the sign that he took to seek help. The number 2 sign, of course, was the number 2 had one with ejaculate in it. In other news, men are not okay. Speaking of defecation, CostCo has went in limited quantities on toilet paper and water in hopes to get out of the whole supply chain mess that had plagued the economy since the start of the pandemic. You remember last year? But your crappy heating habits will not be halted by mere toilet paper. Buy a bidet, you fools. Speaking of in bulk, death in the state of Alabama. Alabama had 7,000 more deaths than births in 2020, mostly attributed to the coronavirus. Apparently, Alabama just isn't pro-life enough. A recent study has found that snakes were surprisingly recipients of an evolutionary error in their favor when the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs struck the Earth. This makes sense because of all those chunks of asteroid anywhere, having no legs would make it get harder to trip and fall. Also in nature news, the carcasses of nearly 300 birds were scattered across New York City streets after crashing into skyscrapers. And while this may not seem bad, I've not seen proof that these so-called birds were in the U.S. legally. If birds learned to live in one place, they wouldn't have this problem. Maybe they were drunk. They deserved it. Speaking of intoxication, Samuel Adams plans on launching a beer that will have so much alcohol in it that it will be illegal in 15 states. It's 56 proof or 28% alcohol. It is beer, but at 28% alcohol, it might taste okay. Also, you know what is illegal in all states? Meth. And also in things that should be illegal in all 50 states, Taco Bell. No, I kid. I eat way too much Taco Bell, as I'm sure you can see. But the Bell is testing a 30-day subscription service with subscribers for a Taco Lovers Pass. This entitles them to a taco a day, which is the last thing I need. The feeling of obligation to eat more tacos. In local bad apple news, a Rockford police officer admitted to possession of child pornography on his phone. Police are looking to find someone they can blame it on, but our city market just ended and they won't be able to beat the protesters again. So what are they going to do? So that's the news at Gen for Monday, September 27th, 2021. I hope you had a great time. Thank you to my Patreons. Thank you to my subscribers. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so right away, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to get big and famous, and you're not going to know what happens. You're not going to know. You're just not. And that's scary, isn't it? It's got to be scary, not knowing. What am I talking about? Oh, and remember, I love you.